So good afternoon, everybody. Chief Spagnuolo from the Waterbury Police Department. I wanted to report on an incident we had here last night. Waterbury Police responded to the 300 block of Congress Avenue around 6:30 yesterday evening on a report of a party shot. There was a female victim that was shot, transported to Waterbury Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. As police officers and investigators were in that area, another call of shots fired came in. Officers responded to another location in that 300 block of Congress Avenue where they found two male parties that were struck by gunfire, a 21-year-old male and a 10-year-old male. Both parties were transported to the hospital and both sustained non-life-threatening injuries. We've been working this investigation throughout the night. We've got our major crimes unit, a lot of our special details. They're assigned to this investigation right now. It's very troubling that we had that amount of violence in a small section of the city in such a short period of time. We are following some very strong leads right now. Very confident that we're going to be able to make a good case and bring some people to justice on this. I can tell you that this is an isolated incident. It does involve group violence. We have recovered one stolen automobile that was on scene of one of the shootings. We are investigating the use of another stolen automobile in these shootings last night, and we will continue to update you as we get more information.
Just talk about, your reaction to the fact that a 10-year-old was shot. This could have been anyone's child.
Absolutely, it could have been anyone's child. It's very disheartening. It's frankly sickening to myself and the members of this police department, the members of this community, and the mayor that such a young child would be stricken by this type of violence. The trauma that this will cause is just terrible.
Anything to say about suspects right now? I know you mentioned that stolen vehicles would be involved, but anything on the people behind the wheel of those cars?
So listen, Waterbury, like every other urban area, has been plagued by a rash of shootings this year. We're up to 45 shooting victims, 49 rather shooting victims, and 85 incidents of shots fired thus far year to date in the city. It's a small group of people. These people are engaged in group violence. They're engaged in auto theft. We've been talking about it for a long time. We need the assistance of our legislation in trying to change some of these laws. People need to start understanding that there is an issue with auto theft. There is an issue with juveniles and auto theft, and it's graduating into more violent and more serious crime, and people in our community are getting hurt.
Hey, Chief, what would you say to people who just might ask amongst themselves, hear this, what is going on?
Well, we just talked about what's going on in LaSalle. There's a significant uptick in violent crime. We have done a ton of investigative work on this, and we understand where it's coming from. The majority of the crime is of the responsibility of a small group that's operating within the city. We've been working with our state and federal partners. We recently had a pretty significant takedown that's helped us a little bit, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Now, the shooting on Congress Avenue, was it like a drive-by situation? We went to the house, we saw the bullet holes. Were they out on the porch, or can you kind of paint us a picture of what it might have been?
So a lot of those details are still under investigation. There was a stolen automobile that was involved in the shooting where the two males were shot, and that's all I can say for now.
Are the 10-year-old and the older male, are they related in any way?
Yes, they are related.
And how's the family doing?
Let's distraught, like anybody would be. This is a very terrible incident. You have such a young child that's been exposed to an incident of violence that's going to live with him forever.
Have you guys looked at any surveillance cameras in the area that may have caught what happened?
We're using a number of different investigative means. Our real-time crime center's on this. We've got some of our best investigators and best police officers assigned to this case right now.
Chief, you said you have very strong leads. Where are those very strong leads coming from?
We're working, every aspect and angle that we can right now through technology, through our sources, and just through investigative services in the detective division.
A lot of people are kind of just tired of the violence in the city. Is this something that people should be concerned about? They're nervous when they step outside to run errands or do whatever.
People should be tired of the violence that's occurring in this city. People should be tired of the violence that's occurring in this state and frankly in this country. There's a lot of uptick in violence this year. There's been a lot of shootings. just prior to these 3 shootings, members of this police department took 8 guns off the street in less than 16 hours. There's a large amount of guns that are on the street. There's a large amount of permits that are being issued. There's more gun carriers. There's more stolen weapons than we've ever seen before. It needs to be addressed, and it can't just be the police that does it. It has to be a collaboration between the judicial system, the courts, DOC, and especially our legislators.
What else can you do as a police department?
Listen, we'll continue to work. We'll continue to follow leads. We'll continue to conduct so much proactive community outreach policing that we do here in Waterbury in an effort to have good relationships with the members of this community and try to make it a safer place. Good.